Well, here we are. Greetings and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So today we're doing episode number 27 of my strange fascinations. We don't want to get into fantasy part. That might get me into trouble on this network. Okay, so we'll stick with my strange fascinations, episode number 27, featuring this guy, Ronnie James Dio, and a shot of him with Black Sabbath as well. Okay, we're now getting down to about the nitty gritty here. There's like the top four guys, very impactful in my life. The last two, Gabriel, or the last three, Styx, Gabriel, and Ace Frehley, yeah, pretty impactful too, but I think this top four were going to be the top four no matter what. With Ronnie James Dio, the impact from him begins when I bought this album, Heaven and Hell. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Heaven and Hell. I had no actual. I had listened to a few songs by Black Sabbath, Paranoid, of course, and War Pigs, but didn't know much about them. And then I figured, I really liked both War Pigs and Paranoid. So when this album came out, which coincidentally I discovered Sabbath shortly before this album came out, and I went and listened to it, and my friend said, "Well, yeah, it's not the same guy singing though. It's not Ozzy anymore. It's another guy." I said, "Oh wow, that's not going to be good, is it? Like, how can you replace that guy?" This guy is not only replaced him, I think he's the finest vocalist of anybody in any rock band anywhere, bar none. I just think he's the best vocalist of all time. I think I like his operatic sound. He has a very operatic voice. He carries himself very well. His voice is actually really powerful, and he sings heavy metal, which isn't a genre that normally is in my top favorites, but that excludes vocalists for some reason, with Rob Halford and Bruce Dickinson, and some other people I've heard. The vocalists in the heavy metal realm are very powerful, and I think Ronnie James Dio is one of the best vocalists out there, and my personal favorite vocalist. So his impact on me was pretty much threefold. First, he was fronting a band that I have come to love as one of my favorite bands of all time, and that's Black Sabbath. And yes, I know Ozzy was the quintessential vocalist, that Sabbath doesn't sound the same without him. Well, maybe they don't, but I think they sound better myself. And I know I'm going to take some heat for this. And it's not that I don't like those Ozzy albums. 4 of them are masterpieces for me. I just like this particular album more than any of those. And the other 2 that he sang on, Dehumanizer, which I got only recently, and The Mob Rules, are both really solid albums as well. But Dio didn't stop there. If he had stopped there and not done anything else, maybe he wouldn't be on the show today. But he went on to do this album, which is really good. This could have been a Sabbath album too. Maybe should have been a Sabbath album if these guys had gotten along. But in the world of rock, it doesn't always go that way. They don't always get along. And and even though I was upset when Ronnie James Dio left the band, when he came out with this album, I thought, wow, this is good. He wouldn't have done this if he'd stayed with Sabbath. And what also wouldn't have happened is that Ian Gillan wouldn't have joined Black Sabbath, and we wouldn't have had that album, which is also really good. So out of, as Bob would say from The Walking Dead, out of the bad comes something good, right? Which is really what happened here, right? But then I began, because I liked this album so much, and then the next one that came, I started going back, and my friend said, "Oh, you got to hear him with this group." I said, "Oh, he was with another group?" "Yeah." "Well, he came from somewhere before he came to Sabbath. They weren't going to take a nobody, and he came from a band called Rainbow." So I started listening to some of the Rainbow stuff. First, the Man on the Silver Mountain, and I thought his voice was great on that. Then it was off the charts on the Rainbow Rising album, which is, I think, this guy's been in 3 separate bands and had 3 awesome albums. So just a fantastic singer. He just has one of those majestic voices, but he can do. Sorry, some plane has decided to fly over at the same time I'm doing this. He can do this majestic voice. He can do what would be ballads, but they don't really sound like ballads when he's singing them. They just have something about them that is just strong and powerful, even when he's singing them. So for me, the fact that so many people on YouTube who do this kind of thing that I'm doing now think so highly of Ronnie James Dio surprised me, because I thought, I know he's not as big as this guy or big as that guy, but he has had a huge impact on the heavy metal industry in particular, but also just in music in general. And sad that he passed at 68, 69 years of age. I wonder what he would be doing now. Well, he'd be in his 80s, but it's unfortunate that he's gone, because I think even right up to the end, on the, I guess, Sabbath decided when they were with him to call themselves Heaven and Hell, and when they were with Ozzy to call themselves Black Sabbath. But even on that Heaven and Hell album, which I've only heard bits and pieces of, I think he was great. Or the Heaven and Hell group on their album. Yeah. So my kudos go out to the legendary Ronnie James Dio, one of the great rock musicians and my personal favorite vocalist of all time. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will come back for the next episode. So please like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow for episode number 28, getting down to the end now, for my strange fascinations. Thank you. Bye.